Hey, y'all. Rob's disappointed in me.
Yeah.
And welcome to this Keeping Up with the Kardashians exclusive online content for the YouTube. Right? That's how you pronounce it?
I
The
like it.
YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube.
As you know, I'm Nick.
This is Rob.
Joe.
And we're here to talk with you about Star Trek Picard.
Picard.
Picard! Because we're nearing the end.
Oh, man, I'm bummed, man.
We are in episode 7 of only 10 episodes. This last episode was Dominion. Joe, start us off with your thoughts on Dominion.
I like the name.
Yeah, right?
Great episode name.
Well, you know, the name gave me hope.
And
but
it had nothing to do with the episode, really.
kind of a little, but not really, right?
Bummer.
Like,
What
you
a
would-
deek.
You were like thinking Dominion. You're like, all right,
Yeah.
the Dominion.
Yep.
And no, none of it.
No. So let me give you a quick wrap up of this episode. The Titan is hiding in the Chintaka system, which we know from Deep Space Nine. It was a war place.
Twice.
And as the Titan's hiding, Geordi's working with Data / Lore to figure him out. And as this is happening, Jack is developing telepathy issues and weird stuff, whatever. But they decide they can't escape from the Shrike, so they have the Shrike come to them, and the Shrike boards, and the changelings all attack. They're able to capture some of the changelings, like Vatic. And Vatic basically says, "You guys made me," and they're like, "What are you talking about?" It turns out during the Dominion War, they had captured 10 changelings, and Section 31 had been experimenting on them, torturing them, doing all these terrible things to them. So these changelings are out for revenge on humanity. They want to destroy humanity for what Starfleet did to them. And Picard's like, "I'm sorry, we had no idea, but we gave you the cure." And he's like, "Nah, you didn't give us the cure. Odo gave us the cure."
What you got from Bashir.
What you got from Bashir. So basically, the episode ends with Vatic escaping, taking over the ship, and they're on the hunt for Jack. So that's basically that's it.
First off, so spoilers, obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Well, just in case Joe's here, you don't know if he's going to watch it.
if the show was based on it, we'd watch it.
Woo!
Good one. You
Yeah.
are funny. You
Yeah.
are a funny guy.
Tim Russ.
Yes.
Let's start there.
We get Tuvok, who's from Star Trek Voyager. He's in the opening,
Which is not DS9.
which is not DS9. No. But it makes sense with the story, with Seven's looking for people she can trust.
I agree with that. So, first of all, I love Tim Russ. I actually really like Tuvok.
Yeah.
But still another way not to get a DS9 character in.
Was he on an episode of DS9?
No,
he was not. He was a different
He wasn't in one episode?
He
He
was
was-
in as a
different character.
yeah.
When they tried to steal Dax's
He was a
symbionts-
Vulcan.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. He wasn't a Vulcan.
Oh, he was a human.
He was like a humanoid.
Humanoid.
Okay.
But
Yes.
that episode they tried to steal Dax's symbiote.
They
Like
separated
season
her
2?
from the body.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
And then he was also a bad guy in The Next Generation in an episode. Give me a minute, I can think of it.
wasn't he in one of the movies as well?
Yeah, he was in Generations. He was just a con officer.
Yeah.
He was also in Spaceballs.
We ain't found shit.
Yep.
That's what it's from.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So it's nice to see Tuvok. Well, we thought, but I'm just like it's another opportunity. But I just want something someone DS9. I was hoping like with a hint that there'd be an actor there, like we see like another Wayun clone, because the episode was called Dominion.
Yeah.
I was hoping for something along those lines where we might see something related to Dominion that we know.
So,
So nothing against this particular issue.
Yeah.
It's more of the overarching thing. It's like
You just want DS9.
I just want someone from DS9. Yeah, Chintaka System's great. Yeah, throw me the bone of this little thing, but I actually want something of substance from DS9.
I think we're gonna.
So since we've had Jonathan Frakes has done and he was in an episode of DS9, and we have Worf who was in DS9, but we're going to consider him Next Generation.
Yes.
Okay. We haven't seen any of the actors reprise their roles in Star Trek post DS9, have we?
Lower Decks.
Yes,
We
Lower
had
Decks.
Kira.
Live action.
No
No
live
live
action. DS9's been crapped on for that long.
That's
It's sad.
it's incredibly sad.
It's frustrating.
It is frustrating because I think it's because of what, and you were saying that DS9 was kind of maligned a little bit upon its initial release, but since then it has become a kind of this stronghold on this cult favorite amongst Trek fans.
Well,
and it's
There are still many
place.
Trek fans who don't like it
There
because
are
of
plenty.
its dark tone.
Yeah.
In Section 31, there are many Star Trek fans who think it's an abomination. But
well, they're idiots.
But they're pulling all the story from DS9.
right. How,
And
why
then
not? Why not get an app?
throw
Grab
a
an
bone?
actor?
Like,
But I
why,
think
and
they
all
will.
all this black market stuff. Why the hell isn't Quark involved? In some way, shape, or form, a contact.
I really think they will.
view
Though.
stream.
I think there's still time. I think we're going to see some people like Tim Russ. No one knew this was going to happen. There was no even hints that
I have
this was going to
zero
happen.
faith. Zero faith.
You know, have no faith of the heart.
I have no faith in
Okay,
the
so
heart.
there's three ep-
I think
there's-
they'll be an Enterprise character before they'd be a DS9 character.
Oh my gosh.
So there's 3 episodes of Picard left,
Yeah.
and I think we all agree that Picard this run of Picard is the best opportunity they have
Absolutely.
to sort of dip their toes back into the DS9 pool, right?
right.
Just tease me.
If
Just the tip.
If they don't do it in this run, do you think that's a big middle finger to DS9 going forward? Like they're not.
I think the only way it's not is if they're maybe working on something behind scenes that we don't know about that's going to come out soon.
Don't do your
But if
Cisco
they're not,
show take.
No, I'm not doing a Cisco show take. But if they're not working on something, then yes, it is a big middle.
Because
finger.
we have, I mean, in our episode that comes out Monday, we discuss Starfleet Academy that was announced, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Nice plug.
I don't think. Thank you. I don't think any of us have any faith that they're going to
No faith of the heart.
No.
go back to DS9 at all during that show.
Well, I think
Zero
it's-
faith of the heart.
Yeah, I don't have faith of the heart.
No.
No.
Okay.
I also think it's going to be a 32nd century show, though, so I don't
Yeah,
think there's any
But
reason.
we did. I mean, to tease the discussion a little bit, we did discuss a little bit on how they could
A way they could
do that. But
But you have to watch the episode to find out.
Yeah, nice. But with that, they're pulling story from DS9. They call an episode The Dominion.
Yeah.
And they're pulling a lot from DS9. And maybe they view Worf as the DS9 character,
They could.
but that's still bullcrap.
that
Because
is-
he's
I
a
think-
Well,
I think
it's funny though because the episode is titled Dominion and Worf's not even in it.
yeah.
He's gone the whole episode.
Yeah.
now we're looking at the episode titles, and they have the title for episode 8, which is Surrender.
Which is
But-
going to be a cheap trick focused episode.
Not bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not bad.
I do want to get on record your prediction that you talked about on camera later in the episode. We'll do it at the end.
But what I'm saying is episodes 9 and 10,
Mm-hmm.
which I think that's, what is it? Terry Metalis is directly responsible for those episodes
Yeah.
wholly, correct?
I'm
So-
not sure.
No, Terry Metalis is the last time Terry Metalis was a writer on the. Oh, this is just directed by. Terry Metalis only wrote the first episode, the fourth, the last.
Okay.
But I'm assuming that means Terry Metalis is intimately involved in producing it. So
So do you have any faith or hope that episodes 9 and 10 are just they're going to go out with a bang and they're going to bring out the
We're
big
gonna see
time
some-
stories?
we're going to see some major legacy characters, I think. Still.
Because this is the end, right? This is
Well-
potentially the end for this.
for Picard, yes.
And I think Terry Metalis, and if you don't follow him through our Keeping Up the Kardashians pod at Twitter, follow him because he said if you want to stay from spoilers, don't pay attention to Twitter the next 3 weeks
It's
or
gonna be
anything else.
bad.
Yeah, he said it's going
Yeah.
to be bad because that tells me there is something afoot.
Okay.
But I also know Tim Russ appears in one more episode, and there's been a shit ton of Janeway foreshadowing in this.
Absolutely.
So I'm 100% positive Janeway will be in an episode coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
at all.
this new generation of Trek has been very bad about foreshadowing something and then not having a reason to say something about it. They're like Janeway's been mentioned I think 3 or 4 times. It tells me that Janeway's coming back
Okay.
Right,
in some capacity,
right. I think so
which
too.
is cool. But why not something else? Why not throw me a bone?
With all this said, let's go into this episode of Picard because we haven't really talked about anything
Yeah.
relating to the episode itself. So this episode focuses a lot on, Vadic is after Jack. It's not Picard. They don't care about Picard. They just want Jack. And
She wants to get Jack off.
yes. And at one point they capture Vadic and they have her in the force fields. And Vadic basically tells them her background, which is she was tortured.
Yeah, we could talk
But-
about that. That's a good place to start.
She was absolutely tortured by Starfleet, specifically Section 31, on the Daystrom Institute, which right away gives you the idea that
Daystrom
there's going to be
Station. There's a difference.
station. Yes, that immediately tells you that there's going to be some link to Data lore, right? And that's what we got. Like the enemy of my enemy is my friend, so he's working with them. So she goes through this whole description about how she was tortured and treated poorly, and Picard's like, "I'm so sorry you were treated that badly, but we're not all bad." Blah 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 blah. But then Beverly convinces him the only thing that they can do is kill her.
Okay, let's start with her speech. Her speech was beautiful. The way she acted about how she was tortured.
Oh,
it was
Vatic, yeah,
very
Amanda Plummer nailed it,
knocked it out of the park. And the way they she was telling her story, and then they parlayed it with scenes of whether they're like being lit on fire scenes, or they're tested on. Wonderfully done.
Yeah,
it actually was. This episode had like LeVar Burton and Amanda Plummer did great acting in this episode.
Yeah.
So we'll start with this scene. There's nothing in this world you could do to convince me, no matter how many years have passed, Picard would come to this solution.
That he would just choose to kill her.
No chance in hell.
The only way, well, I could see it because you have Gates McFadden's conversation where she's like, I think my moral compass is gone. I've lost it, which was wonderful. She knocked it out of the park this episode. And part of the reason why her moral compass is lost is because she wants to protect her child at no matter the cost, right?
Right.
This even goes back to what we've talked about. Well, we're talking about this week on our show with Battlestar Galactica about protecting your child no matter the cost. So I get it with her. It would have made a little more sense if they took Picard in that direction, or at least put him in a situation where he had to like make the hard choice about protecting his child or killing this woman. But instead it's like, well, let's lower the force field and shoot her.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That's not what Picard would do.
No, and I really think that Picard would have been like, okay, this is an answer, but it's not the right answer.
Right. There has to be something else, some other way.
There's no way you can convince me that he would, no matter how much has changed about Picard, that he'd come to this solution and accept this as a solution.
It doesn't.
There's no chance.
It doesn't track.
I don't even know Picard, and it doesn't sound like him. From what I've sort of absorbed over the course of.
He's not a killer. That's not who he is.
He would seek another way to do it.
Absolutely.
I don't care if his kid's involved or whoever it is. I know Riker's. He's worried about Riker too. There's no way he comes to this conclusion, accepts it as the viable option.
Right.
No way.
Agreed.
So that right there is a fundamental issue with this. If there's one issue so far that we've gone over, no way. Beverly, they did a good job explaining why her moral compass has been.
Yeah, what led her to this direction. And it makes sense for her.
Yeah.
But Picard, it does not make sense at all. It does not track.
No. And then earlier in the episode, she was saying, I have a moral issue here too because they think they found a way to track the new changelings. But it could lead to, it's based on their genetics, which could lead to genocide if she were to develop this more. So she was like, this is my moral dilemma.
And we're going right back to what the Dominion did, or what we did during the Dominion War.
Right.
And we can't do that.
Yeah. So it could be a preface to attacking them again in this way. So they did a good job of even building that up earlier in the episode where she's already facing a moral dilemma. But then when it comes to the bigger moral dilemma, immediate moral dilemma, establishing that, Picard in that scene was like, I don't know, bro. I don't know about that, bro.
Right.
And now he's picking up a phaser and say, let's shoot this thing. Come on.
I know. Yeah. It doesn't track. It doesn't track.
Yeah.
So that was my problem with this episode. Is it leaned a little too much more in the nihilistic stuff. The direction that Discovery would have went, or the first two seasons of Picard have gone. This season of Picard has been fairly hopeful. There's been some darker moments, but they've always leaned back on the hope and how they can be better then. And this was the first episode where I don't feel like they did a good job of that.
Okay. Yeah. Can we go into the Data lore LeVar Burton stuff? Or let's wrap up with that because we want to keep these shorter. So we'll wrap up with that and then we'll rate the episode. Okay, because I had all kinds of notes.
I know, but we want to keep these 10 minutes, right? Okay. So
not a one of them has been 10 minutes.
Well, they've been like 12 to 15. Yeah.
Fact check.
Yeah. So Data and lore was amazing.
Quality. Over length.
Yeah. Data and lore was absolutely incredible because for the first couple seasons of Picard focused too much on Picard's relationship with Data. The movies focus on Picard's relationship with Data, but Next Generation, the whole focus of Next Generation was on the friendship between Geordi and Data. That was a big central point of
They had
that
a great
show.
friendship.
They had a wonderful friendship. Geordi was the one who would watch his cat Spot and take care of him, and Geordi was the one who knew him well. They would get together. They would play games together.
There's cats on Next Generation?
There's like a cat, Spot.
Yeah, Spot.
Really?
Data has a cat named Spot.
Might watch the show after all.
And
Yeah,
this is
Pretty soon.
and we've spent a lot of time focusing on how Picard has reacted to the death of Data, but now we finally get Geordi's response, and
It was beautiful.
and he basically says, it broke me when you died, and you were my best friend," and he cries, and he just so well acted.
Yeah.
Because he's basically, there's this,
Paint the scene.
Data's a robot, right? He's an android, and he had an evil twin brother, Lore, basically. But now they were both in the same body. So Lore's fighting for control of the brain, and Data's in there too. Lore's taken over. So Geordi appeals to him and says, "Data, I know you're in there."
You're
And
leaving out a chunk, though. The reason he's appealing to him is because Geordi's daughter is stuck in a force field where the bad guys are coming, and they like ram her face against a force field. It was brutal. So they're cutting between the two while Geordi's trying to appeal to Data
to help him save his child.
So he knocked it out of the park.
They did a really good job with
And
it. Yes. LeVar Burton all the acting on this season has been particularly good, which is funny because they filmed season 2 and 3 at the same time, but they could not feel any more different.
light years of difference.
They're so different.
Yeah, not a lot of the Jack stuff.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the Jack stuff.
Not a fan.
The red eyes.
Pa Wraith.
Remember when Jake Sisko had red eyes?
Yeah.
He was a Pa Wraith.
There's a Pa Wraith in there.
Possibly.
Am I reading too much into it? Probably.
Maybe.
Maybe probably are, because that would be another nod to DS9, which we know they're not.
There's
gonna
already
do.
too many of those.
Right.
I mean, they could do it.
Can you tweet him?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Where's
What's
the,
up?
where's
The
the
Pa
DS9
Wraith?
character, man?
The Pa Wraith. Tweet the Pa Wraith.
Ooh, at Power.
If he says Worf, you could just reply with a middle finger emoji.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's not do that. Let's not burn that bridge.
So, plot-wise, there's a part in the episode where Lore's taking over the body, the host, the Golem, I think they call it. And then Lore starts to take over the ship. And is successful doing it for the most part until Data gets back in it. As soon as Data gets back in and gives them back control of the ship, Vadic and her crew start to take over the ship. Why didn't Data just lock it back down when Data got control? Problem solved.
Because I'm assuming Lore took right back over, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he just got it down long enough to get the kid out.
But at the end of the episode, it was still Data in control of the Golem.
I don't know.
So it's just a plot hole. A little bit of a weak plot hole.
Yeah. I mean, this was the weakest of the episodes.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I was going to ask if
I'd
you,
say
if
so.
you thought this was
Yeah.
where this ranks on the weak scale.
I thought the first half hour was significantly weaker than the second half hour. It picked up pace quite a bit, especially once we get Vadic trapped and they start having the conversations with Vadic and the moral dilemmas that come into play. Those were good. Like, if you asked me to rate the first half of the episode, I probably would have given it a 6. The second half is like a 7.5. But overall, I think I'm going to lean closer to like giving it a 6.5.
That's where I'm going to go with it too. But again, special nod to the acting for some of the cats in it and some of the story that they did in that. But there was a lot of it outside of that took away from those, especially 2 very good parts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think this is the calm before the storm?
Yeah, I think it's going to get.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're setting it up for that. Yeah.
And how dumb is it that the whole fleet goes to one spot?
Yeah, whatever.
What? I mean, come on.
Doesn't make a lot of
The
sense.
entire fleet. They're still. Yeah, anyway, that's dumb.
We're not going to get wrapped up in that.
Well, we're reviewing the show.
I mean, they did that.
Yeah.
They did that in
We're
DS9
not gonna
all the time. Like,
Yeah, they
no.
always sent the A crew, everybody.
But there wasn't fleets. There were battalions. This is the entire
Yeah.
fleet.
I know, but like, so for instance, like, the wormhole is the most important and strategic spot in this war, and then they never keep it staffed.
The
They
7th fleet was there, but the
Oh.
station, they left the station all the time.
Yeah, exactly. No, so we got to let those things go.
It's important. Never leave your spot.
The entire fleet.
Whatever.
The entire fleet.
Get over
There's
it.
none in the Bajor section.
I'm going to need you to get over it.
The entire fleet.
I'm going to need he needs to get over it because
Come
it's
on
a
in this
TV
shit and
show.
tell Nick the fuck off.
Wow, bro. Not cool.
What'd you think of the episode?
Yeah.
Tell us,
Leave your comments.
please.
But That's all.
Yeah.
That's what we got for you.
All right.
Comment below.
We loved you.
Like,
We loved you.
subscribe, share.
Smash that subscribe
Share.
button.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what they say on the YouTube. Smash
it?
that subscribe button.
Yeah, smash it then.
Yeah.
Smash it.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Bye.